Welcome everybody. It's so nice to be here. As I just said before when we were letting people drift into the waiting room, my name is Melissa Giorgio and we're here today with the Eduten launch in Lao. So it's a very exciting occasion because it's just nice to be official with all of these things and have everybody that's attending today. We have a few esteemed guests and many people from Eduten, the company, and we've got people talking about their experiences. So we've a few things on the agenda that should keep you quite entertained. I'd like to thank Hung for organising this, and mostly to our esteemed guests from the Embassy and the Ministry of Education. Yes. And we've got some ambassadors here, and I'm going to start going through everybody, welcoming everybody. Some people are going to give a talk at the beginning, and then we're going to hear from our CEO of Eduten and Miss Sonia Arora from India, sharing her experiences about how seamlessly Eduten was incorporated into on YouTube. Thank you. If you want to have more information about Eduten and contact our country supervisor, Hung. If you're here via Zoom, just a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. Would you please mute yourself just to make everything a little bit easier on our end? And if you have something to say or you'd like to contribute or ask a question at the end of the webinar, please put it in the chat here on the Zoom call, or raise your hand and we can get to you, hopefully, if there's time. So today's webinar is the official Eduten launch in Lao, and we have some esteemed guests. I'm very pleased to welcome, and please forgive me if I don't pronounce these names correctly. I'm really doing my best. His Excellency Ko Norvanto, he's the Ambassador to Lao PDR. We also have Mrs. If you wouldn't mind just muting yourself at the moment, and I'll invite everybody to speak one by one in a second. We have Mrs. Kampaseth Kitting Navong, and she's the Director General of the Education Department for the Ministry of Education in Lao PDR. What an honour to have you here. Thank you for being here. And we have the Honorary Council of Finland in Lao PDR, Mr. Kio Vissuk Dalasane. So thank you all for being here. We're so pleased that you've taken the time out of your day to be here. Also present is Mr. Henry Mortimer, who's the CEO of Eduten, and he's going to explain lots of things about the background of Eduten, how digitalization works in Finland, and you can think about how that works in Lao PDR as well. And then he will end with some information about how to sign up to Eduten if these things pique your interest. We'll also be hearing from Mrs. Sonia Arora today, and she's going to be sharing her experiences in implementing Eduten in her local area. So thank you everybody for being here. My name is Melissa Giorgio. We're going to spend about 45 minutes here together. And at the end of this webinar, we would like to invite you to ask any questions that are related to Eduten, related to mathematics, or how to sign up. And otherwise, there'll be links and more information shared with you from our country manager, Hung. So first of all, I'd like to welcome His Excellency Ko Norvanto. Would you like to share some words?
Hello, yes. Good afternoon from Hanoi. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Dear participants, excellencies, I'm so pleased and excited to be able to attend this official launch event today. Let me start by sharing a couple of remarks. First of all, of course, it's a very well-known fact that we in Finland value education above all. As a result, we have initiated over the decades a number of novel and yet very simple changes that have completely transformed our education
ใน
system.
เรื่องของการศึกษาในยุคนี้บ่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่องของการที่พวกเขาจะได้มีระบบการศึกษาที่ดีที่สุดสำหรับพวกเขาแล้วในเรื่องของการศึกษาสำหรับนักเรียนที่เขาเจ้ามี
The joy of learning throughout their lives. Since early 2000, Finland's education system began to receive worldwide attention thanks to the higher in international rankings in different surveys of education. And I think it is fair to say that Finland's education system is the foundation of Finland's success overall, helping find solutions to local and also global challenges. So in recent years, the thriving education technology or EdTech, one can say, sector has developed in a very positive way, merging Finnish software and education strengths. Finnish solid digital sector and gaming industry have contributed a lot to this development. So the combination of this kind has really helped create favorable conditions for developing cutting-edge digital learning solutions, which make learning fun, engaging, and personal. And many educational technology solutions have been developed together with Finnish teachers and tested in Finnish schools and also in other countries' schools. So all in all, Finland is working to promote and seek further engagement in many aspects of education, including education technology here in the region. And we here at the embassy, me and my colleagues here in Hanoi, covering Lao PDR, we are ready to support Finnish actors, including Eduten and their regional partners in educational cooperation efforts. So with these words, I wish you all a very fruitful exchange and discussion. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for sharing your endorsement of Eduten and Finnish education in Vietnam region and Lao PDR. That was fantastic. Thank you, Keo Norvanto. Really nice to have you here. Just a reminder to everybody who might be coming in right now, you're watching the official Eduten launch of the digitalization in education for Lao schools. And we're joined by many esteemed guests that are welcoming everybody here and also explaining about digitalization in not only Finland, but in your local area, which in this case is Lao. So thank you. We've just heard from His Excellency Keo Norvanto. And now I'd like to welcome Mrs. Kampasuth Kitting-Navon. I'm sorry if I'm not saying your name correctly, but a warm welcome to you. And would you like to share some words at this launch?
So thank you very much. Good afternoon. His Excellency Keo Norvanto, Ambassador to Vietnam and Lao PDR. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon again. So on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I'm very happy to be in this part of the very important event. As you know that after the COVID period, the country is open now. And the country is facing so many challenges in terms of teaching and learning. So I'm glad that His Excellency is talking about how the country, especially Finland, has the education with high quality, and the other thing, the Lao PDR will be able to learn from and improve, especially now, as you know that digital learning is very important. But we know the Lao PDR is still in the process of, even though we have the legal document on using the digital on the learning, however, access to the digital is not easy. Especially with 2 years and more than 2 years, we face some key challenge, schools closed, and kids might not be able to learn properly. But using some of the technical part to help, it might be able to access, because the country has different diversity of the country. Especially in some area might be able to access the internet, some might not be able to access. In addition to this, if you're able to access the device that you're going to use, might not be able So to solve the issue during the period, the country has developed with the assistance from development partners to develop Kang Panya. You may heard that if you go to the access to the web, you can see the Kang Panya. You type Kang Panya, you will see all the learning or digital part is inside. However, not all school, all parents or community can access to that. But the thing is that we want to all children to return to school, and the children may have to learn on that. But secondly, we recognize that the importance, very important, that of the role of the teacher, especially how to strengthen the teacher on digital pedagogy, especially on how to introduce the pedagogy to teach kids during the pandemic or the normal part as well. So in order to that, we have to enhance the skills of the teacher to cope with the technology in order to be able to deal with different situations might be happen in the future. And thirdly, we understand clearly that we have to provide adequate teaching and learning material, include the digital device, like I mentioned, as we are continuing to promote the technical and vocational skills, soft skill on the STEM education. So at the secondary school and in university as well, we also we will promote the digital data system as well. And lastly, I would say that prioritize
แต่สุด
strengthening
ท้ายเนาะพวกเขาอาจจะอยากจะบอกว่าพวกเขาเน้นหนักหลายในเรื่องการที่จะเสริมสร้างเรื่องของขีดความสามารถของผู้ที่อยู่ในแขนงการศึกษาของพวกเขาเพื่อที่พวกเขาจะสามารถช่วยเหลือและการแก้ไขปัญหาทางด้านการศึกษาและการเรียนรู้เพื่อที่จะให้การศึกษานั้นมีคุณภาพที่ดีที่สุดซึ่งข้าพเจ้าก็ภาคภูมิใจหลายที่ได้มีส่วนร่วมในงานดีๆแบบนี้
Are we going to use to improve our school, especially on the area where we cannot access to help improve the learning and recovery on the loss that we have there. So thank you very much. I wish this meeting successfully completed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kampasuth, and you are doing a fabulous job as the Director General of the Education Department, clearly, because you've brought up some very important points about digitalization in education. It's not just about the product itself, but as you mentioned, it's about access to internet, teachers training, providing the material. It's so broad, isn't it? There's just so much to keep in mind. And I'm assuming that our CEO, Henry, when he gives his speech or talk, will actually speak to a couple of those points. But yes, thank you for keeping those right at the front of our thinking. Just a reminder to everybody else who's here, please put yourself on mute, just to give our speakers the opening to speak without interruption. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Kampasuth. I really appreciate that you've come and given your time today. Next, I'd like to invite the Honorary Consul of Finland in Lao, PDR, and that is Mr. Kio Visuk Dalasan. I'm sorry about my pronunciation of your name, but I'm sure you know. Yes, I've got the thumbs up. Please welcome to the floor and speak for us.
So, His Excellency Ambassador Kero Novanto, Madam Ambassador Henry, and our friends from India, and ladies and gentlemen, I would say very excited to see this happening, because I was supporting Eduten during the pandemic. So quickly introduce myself, Kavisuk Dalasan. I became Honorary Council of Finland to Laos in 2020, January the 1st. So I might be maybe taking the position during the pandemic happened. So completely with all those, I haven't got a chance to visit Finland yet, but I mean, I have been a big fan of Finland education, and I'm not going to repeat what Ambassador already mentioned. And I think everyone here being here partly also because of the title itself, the Finnish education. So my personal business was in the human resource development, And one-way jobs is my daytime job that I have run for 11 years. So I am very much into the human resource space, and the more I work on that, the more I see that the foundation of the human resource need to really comes from the education, the right education to be there. And I think for the past 2-3 years, pandemic has prepared ourselves to take on. I know we are far away from being perfect and properly connected digitally, like Madame Ambassador did mention, but I think here's a good start for all of us to get into something, take on to the new path, and to see the new era of the education sector in Laos. And I'm very fortunate enough here to be able to facilitate and bring about the best education in the world that we can imagine, and then how we can apply those to the situation here in Laos. So I think I want to end here, and I thanks everyone joining us today, and please feel free, anything that the Honorary Council here can support, either from Finland side or from Laos side, any school that might want us to explore any possibility, please feel free to reach out to us. And I also wish our session, and I believe is going to be a very successful session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for being here and supporting the previous comments. And that is that, yes, while Finland education is doing really well, spreading it to other parts of the world, we don't think that we're just going to walk in and everything's going to be magical, but we need to take the first steps. And this sort of webinar is the road to those first important steps. So thank you. And it's just so nice to have so many important people here. All of you that are here are very important and mean a lot to these next steps in Lao PDR. Next on our agenda, we'd like to invite the CEO of Eduten. His name is Henry Murima, and he's going to talk to us about Eduten, the platform. And I think we'll just give the stage to him. Henry, are you there? He might need to share his screen.
I am here.
Yes.
Thank you. Really, really wonderful to be here. Thank you, Melissa, and thank you everybody who has joined us. I would like to show you my screen. So could you please give me rights to share my screen, please? It is telling me that participant screen sharing is disabled.
So while we're waiting for somebody to allow Henry to become a host and share his screen, I'd like to remind everybody what we're doing here today, and it's our Eduten launch, and the main theme is digitalization in education for Lao schools. So thank you all for being here and for giving us your time. Do you have the right to share?
Wonderful. I think I got it now.
What?
1 second, please.
Keep your questions percolating in your mind while we're getting ready to hear Henry. And if you have any questions, feel free to add them to the chat or raise your hand at the end of the webinar, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Can you see the screen now?
We can.
Okay, wonderful. So really quickly about Eduten itself. Eduten, the company, is actually a spin-off from one of the largest and oldest universities in Finland, a globally top-ranked university, University of Turku. And our university team, currently roughly 30 people, still working hard on discovering new impactful ways to improve education using digital tools, has been researching this topic for more than 17 years now. And one of the results of the research has been this digital classroom innovation called the Eduten platform. And also the university has conducted dozens and dozens, and I think it's over 100 studies nowadays, published peer-reviewed studies, including PhD studies, that clearly and without any doubt show the big impact on learning results, but also student motivation and teacher well-being for using such an impactful tool in the classroom every week. And Eduten is currently the most popular classroom tool in Finland, being used in more than 60% of all schools and actually growing fast right now. So what is it? It is kind of, you can think of it as a digital exercise book, but the idea is that every student will receive the exercises that are suitable for them right now. So it is very much adapting to the needs of the students in real time. And Eduten can also serve as an assessment platform. I actually have a really nice picture in a minute that I really like about how Eduten is applied in the classrooms for assessment as well. So the assessment results and the learning analytics that Eduten will then provide for teacher and also education leaders like principals and even Ministry of Education can apply these analytics. I would say that is a true power of Eduten, not just the student side. Eduten has been so far translated in many languages, including English, Spanish, Portuguese, and Vietnamese.
เชิงพันม้าที่พวกเขาได้เห็นอยู่ในประเทศเวียดนาม
It includes a huge amount of ready-made exercises that are designed and validated together with thousands of
ซึ่งได้มีการตรวจสอบความถูกต้องรวมไปถึงการนำใช้รูปภาพประกอบเพื่อสร้างสีสันให้กับรูปแบบของการศึกษา
about university research, and this is one example of many results. This study was actually conducted just before the pandemic in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai. 4 schools, little less than 1,000 students, but in just 6 weeks we were able to show a really radical improvement on learning results in mathematics skills, but also a number of mistakes across all of the grades that were participating in the study. And as I said, this is just one of the many studies. We have conducted several studies in all continents basically, and they all indicate the same thing. Using Eduten every week will give a clear improvement quite quickly for students. And the basic idea that what we are trying to do with Eduten is that we have discovered many wonderful things that how we can apply technology in a classroom environment to bring education in a new level. And Eduten is a tool that we adapt to any destination system. So if you take anything that works in Finland and just drop it as is to some other system, some other part of the world, it doesn't work. We always need to adapt it. And this is what Eduten does. We take what works in Finland and we adapt it together with our local partners so that it works in the destination system to provide these Finnish values to anywhere in the world. And over the years, Eduten has won many prizes. Some of the ones that we are very proud of is especially the UNESCO ICT for Education Prize in 2020. And actually, just a couple of weeks ago, we were selected as the winner of UNICEF Blue Unicorn Special EdTech Award in the competition that had more than 140 solutions and technology innovations competing from 40 countries, and UNICEF chose Eduten as the winner. So we are extremely proud of both of these acknowledgements. And I will end the Eduten intro with these really kind words from the UNICEF's Chief Global Learning Innovation Hub, Angeles Cortesi. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Henry. What a great introduction to a wonderful platform. So just in essence, Henry was introducing Eduten as a wonderful digital solution that is adaptable in many different countries. Not only has it been translated into different languages where there is a great need, the fact is that it's easily adaptable to any curriculum in the world. And I think that that's something really important to think about. We're not coming in with this attitude that Finnish education needs to be dropped into every country all over the world and we just run with it. We understand the needs of schools and students and we adapt it in that way. Henry, Thank you for that introduction to Eduten. A digital textbook is something that students would absolutely love. Instead of staring at a teacher and a blackboard all day long, it's nicer to get on and kinesthetically work with the materials. And in this case, it's a digital platform. And the wonderful things about Eduten go beyond the fact that it's a digital platform. There is also a lot in it for teachers, parents, the community, and we'll find out more about that later when we speak to Miss Sonia. But Henry, you're going to get back on and speak about Finnish digital education in general and how to apply it. So I'll put it back to you. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Absolutely. No. This is great. Thanks for the intro for this topic as well. I think this is really, really important. But I just told you that we are bringing this wonderful value also to Lao. But what is it? How does it work? So I would love to tell you more about that.
Yes.
Let me put up my screen again.
While you're putting up that screen, thank you to the almost 50 people who are here spending the precious moments of your day with us today and thinking about education in your country and how to make it better. Thank you for being here. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Melissa. And this is, like you said, this is a really, really important thing for us to be able to reach out to experts like everybody in this webinar, because this is the mission of Eduten, to try to bring this innovation so that it can benefit students and teachers anywhere in the world. And everybody here in this webinar are key to that. But I hope you can see my screen again. And this is the picture that I mentioned earlier. And I have to say that I really, really love this picture because it shows you that the classroom in this school in Helsinki, you can see that it's not super fancy. I've been in many, much more fancier schools. In Dubai, for example, in Latin America, Sao Paulo, in Hanoi, in Vietnam, even in Kathmandu in Nepal, which is a very, very poor country. Some of the schools that I saw there, they are much more fancier than most schools in Finland. So the Finnish schools are not about great facilities, and I mean, they are functional, they are very, very useful, but they are not about the kind of shining environment in a school. But it's about functionality, it's about learning, and what the teacher can do to facilitate the learning. And this picture encapsulates this really well, because we can see here that the teacher has used whatever means that the teacher has in their disposal. Beanie bags, in beanie chairs in this instance, to create this holistic environment for the students to focus on the subject.
ที่นอกในรูปแบบการจัดห้องเรียนในรูปแบบนี้เพื่อที่ให้นักเรียนสามารถจำนวนสื่อได้กันแล้วครูอาจารย์ก็ได้มีการใช้อุปกรณ์ที่เป็นรูป
to make sure that every student gets the best possible way to show their result, their learning situation right now. And of course, the system for the teacher is very easy. They will just, with a couple of mouse clicks, they will set up the exam. Students will log in with their personal Eduten accounts, and then they will just start taking the exam. And the questions are randomized, meaning that it doesn't help that if you can see your print screen. You need to focus on showing your skills here in this way. And the last thing really nice about this for the teacher is that, of course, when everybody is finished or the time is up, the teacher will again click mouse once or twice, and they will just get the results. No more marking, no more grading, no more spending 2 hours on validating the results and calculating the scores and everything. Teacher will just get it. And the same thing is, of course, true for learning analytics. When the students are not taking exams, they are practicing their skills using Eduten. In that instance, they will, of course, get instant feedback, which is very important. Actually, I will talk to you about the model of impact in a minute. But first of all, let's take a look on how Eduten is being used in the busy routines of the schools. So what we are trying to do is that we will do our best to disrupt whatever worked with the teachers today as little as possible. So we want to align and adapt Eduten to be working as is with the current workflows that the teacher have. So the recommended way that works really well in Finland and in many parts of the world is that if the teacher can replace one lesson per week working with Eduten in the school, maybe in computer lab, maybe school has some tablets, laptops or whatever, even phones will work. Then the teacher can provide feedback and support for the students as they are working with Eduten in the classroom. And Eduten gamified approach includes a very easy way for the teacher to set goals. And this is important for the routine of the teacher, that they will set the same goal for the students every week. And the goal is that the gamification system in Eduten works with these trophies, that every student will need to get a new trophy every week. It doesn't matter what the subject is, what exercise you are doing, as long as you get the trophy by completing enough of exercises successfully, then you know that you are done. And this is super important for the students as well, that they have this understanding that how much work do I need to do when I'm done. So that's the Eduten lesson every week. It can be 45 minutes, 30 minutes, even 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be every week. It can be 2 times a week. Eduten is very, very flexible, so that whatever way the teacher thinks that these kind of tools should be used, Eduten will adapt to that model. And talking about the trophies, typically Eduten's amount of exercises per week is so big that most students will not complete the trophy even in 45 minutes. So they will need to practice more. And the idea is that we are employing this way to enforce the skills of students over time, meaning that you need to repeat what you have learned. You need to apply yourself after a while to really enforce what you have learned. So that basically Eduten's way to do that is that their trophy will be homework. Students can log in whenever, wherever, using whatever device that they have, and complete the trophy. And basically, before the next week's lesson, then the teacher will check that everybody has the trophy. They will get feedback if somebody has done more than the minimum trophy, and kind of that way tell the students that it really matters what you are doing. If you're doing a really good job, then it is you will get noticed, and teacher will say your name out loud in front of the other students. Again, if this is something that the teacher wants to do, if the teacher thinks this is not good for their class, fine, then the teacher doesn't have to do that, of course. And one quick point I want to mention here, that this Wednesday here, this is just an example. Again, it's completely up to the teacher when they want to use Eduten and how. This is the basically recommended way to apply Eduten every week and create a routine for the students and the teacher as well. But we do have many users around the world who are saying that they are just using Eduten for homework because the teacher doesn't want to grade homework, because the system will do that automatically. And that's fine. If for some reason the school doesn't have the possibility for using the Eduten in the classroom, no problem. Or some other schools, they are using it just in the classroom, because then they have a computer lab, but maybe not all students have devices at home or network connections. And again, that's completely fine. Eduten will adapt. So this is, in a nutshell, the basic classroom routine, how to apply Eduten in the classroom. And outside of this Eduten lesson, we are using the same existing materials and methods that teachers are using today. If they're using some books, physical objects to help students learn, projects, maybe whiteboard work, pen and paper is really good as well. We are encouraging the teacher that they should keep using those, because multimodal learning, I mean, learning the same thing in many different ways, that's extremely powerful way of actually achieving wide learning results. All right. Then if you do this, then what happens? So the basic idea is that when we enforce the students' motivation to work by providing them with the motivational, positive learning experience through gamified exercise and game-like exercises, and also instant feedback. I mean, couple of words about instant feedback. This is extremely important pedagogical tool. I mean, if you are using pen and paper only and you give students homework, the students will take the homework home and then they will try to answer the questions the best they can at home. But if you don't provide feedback when they are trying to solve the problems in the homework section, the student will actually have several days before they will find out if their answer was correct or not. And the problem here is that this completely disrupts the learning process and makes it impossible for you to learn from your mistakes. If you hear maybe the next day at classroom, the teacher will give you the correct answers and you say, okay, that was wrong. But the student is no longer in the context of trying to solve the problem. They can't learn from their mistake. So Eduten's providing instant feedback is very important, and Eduten actually includes
กระบวนการของการกันตองหรือหาคำตอบด้วยตัวเองแต่ว่าเวลานำใช้ Eduten เข้าไปกลุ่มของนักเรียนจะได้มีการที่ได้เห็นว่าตัวใดที่จะผิดพลาดและเราจะได้ชอบหาคำตอบที่ถูกต้องเพื่อที่โดยที่วิธีการนี้จะช่วยกระตุ้นการเรียนรู้ของเจ้าจากข้อผิดพลาดที่เจ้าได้เห็นขึ้นมา
Every classroom in the world is the same in one aspect, is that there are high achievers, low achievers, and the middle group. Every classroom in the world is like that. And the result of this observation is that if you provide the same learning materials for all the students, probably it's maybe too difficult for the low achievers and maybe a little bit too easy for the high achievers. And this actually means that both of those ends will be demotivated. Frustrating and difficult for the other side, and too easy and kind of no challenge at all for the high achievers. Both of those sides will be demotivated. So it's very important if you apply modern learning tools that you will actually personalize the learning content for every student to calibrate the difficulty level. And this is what Eduten does automatically. We do give the power for the teacher to actually make the final pedagogical decisions, but Eduten will suggest to the teacher that you should differentiate this student with this kind of exercises. And all of that is automated. And then we are also talking about the learning analytics that we can see from the learner profiles that we are observing, that we build by observing students practicing, is that the teacher will understand the students better by spending less time on actually trying to go from student to see where they are today. And they can provide better feedback and focus their time on working on those students who actually need this support right now. So providing the benefit for the student, of course, but also for the teacher. And if we are thinking about the different important groups in education, well, students, they love to play, they love to learn, combining those in a meaningful way. You get really, really important results for motivation. Up to 8 times more exercises are done with Eduten compared to pen and paper, according to university research results. Teacher will spend less time on paperwork and routine and more time on actually supporting the students using the learning analytics. We are also considering parents because unlike in Finland, in many other education systems, parents are customers. So they are actually really important decision makers in the daily lives of the students and teachers. And Eduten provides the teachers a way to provide high quality reports
ของพวกเขาเนาะก็ได้มีการช่วยให้ทางครูอาจารย์ได้เห็นว่าจากผ่านบทรายงานของพวกเขาเนาะว่านักเรียนมีการพัฒนาคือแบบใดทางด้านการเรียน
can then support the teachers better by observing how the practicing is going on in different classrooms. And of course, like any school leader and teacher, when we are improving the learning results, that's of course what the school is for. So that's the main mission, and we are supporting that. I think my time is up. So about this topic, okay. So I will pause here. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful. Thanks so much, Henry, the CEO of Eduten. Lots of things that you mentioned there are very important things to consider as educators. So even if we're not, using Eduten at the moment, I loved the way you showed that powerful picture at the beginning that showed that Eduten is not something that's stagnant and you do at a desk. It empowers students to take control of their learning, and it gives them a feeling of trust, I think. And I think that that's really important, because education can't be a teacher at the top of the hierarchy anymore, feeding information to children. It needs to be a relationship, doesn't it? A back and forth.
Absolutely, both ways.
Yeah, and I loved the idea that Eduten helps teachers with this business of marking. As a former teacher myself, I spent 12 years tearing my hair out. It's only just grown back these past retirement years, but marking work over and over every night, marking exams, is something that is so fatiguing for teachers and educators. So having a system that marks the work for students and gives them that feedback right away is so important. Yeah, I love that. Also, just to remind you that a system like Eduten is adaptable. So again, even if you're not using Eduten, as an educator, you can take from Henry's talk that it's so important as an educator to be adaptable and give trust to your students and support them, because Eduten is not wanting to come in and take over everything that you're doing in your classroom. Eduten is only there to support with another fantastic research-proven pedagogical tool. And of course, who doesn't like playing games? So it's a lovely draw card for students to do something different and have this hidden feature of improved results and fun learning. So thank you very much, Henry. Next up, we have Sonia Arora, and she's the last person that's going to speak today. She's going to give us a really interesting view on how she has adapted Eduten in her local region, which in this case is India. I'd just like to introduce, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Sonia, are you there?
Yeah, hi, Alicia, I'm here.
Hello, welcome. Could you please tell our viewers your background and your current title with what you're doing in India at the moment?
Right.
And then I'm going to ask you a few questions.
You're right. Greeting of the day to each and everyone present here. I'm Sonia Arora in the education industry from last 26 years and working as senior PGT computer science teacher, heading information technology department in my school from last 25 years, and working as an international program coordinator, and now working as an Eduten coordinator also in my school. So this is how.
Thank you very much. Yes, and I've just found a postgraduate teacher, information technology head. So you're a real expert in Eduten and how it's being used. Sonia, would you be able to share with us today, how did Bhavan Vidyalaya take up Eduten in the first place? Give us an idea about how Eduten was introduced at that school and the process that occurred.
Yeah, my school, Bhavan Vidyalaya, the school principal, Mrs. Gulshan Kaur, she's with the vision of enforcing teaching methodology, which is in line with National Education Policy 2020. And that is really strongly recommending metacognitive skills, creative problem solving amongst the students in a very fun and engaging environment. And Eduten is meeting with all that. So this is how we are implementing the platform very successfully in the school.
So if you're a school leader who wants to enhance metacognitive skills, fun learning, you're saying the Eduten platform is the way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
So tell us then, how did Eduten impact the students' learning? What have you noticed? What have you observed?
Yeah, right. We all understand that gamification is a new pedagogical tool these days, and students take more responsibility and ownership while they are learning when they are playing games. So, they are told to come on the platform to pick up the activities, the exercises. They are not just simply asked to attempt it. They have this kind of a feeling that they are playing games. They are running for those trophies, which are in form of bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. And the teacher's task becomes very easy when they are with all those trophies. So the teacher is in a position to set that goals for them. When they are picking up the trophies, they come to know that this is how the child is heading towards the concept of that particular lesson or that particular topic. Another
Yes.
thing, another thing that the student can also attempt the lesson in pair. Like if the school is running short of the gadgets or something like that, the platform is giving us the provision that student can work in pair. So 2 students sit on one computer and attempt those exercises, attempt those games on exercises and get the points. And thereafter, if the child wants to pick up the exercise individually, he or she can carry on. So the children are loving this complete environment, the complete concept of having exercises in form of games, especially for the subject of mathematics.
I love this. So you've mentioned that you've seen students positively react to this gamified type education, catching trophies and working hard towards that. But you've brought up a really important point that Mrs. Kampasuth also brought up in her opening talk, and that was, you know, in some countries and in some areas, there might be a lack of digital tools or tablets and computers and so on. But you've highlighted the fact that students can also use this in a collaborative way. So 2 students per computer or 2 students per tablet. So that's a really great point. Thank you for bringing that up, because we're not expecting that everybody has their own tablet at all times, but also just that even at home, if they want to then go on, you know, use their parents' tablet or their parents' phone and whatever that is, they can easily do that too. It's transferable from tablet to tablet, isn't it?
Yeah, the platform is very well compatible on all kind of gadgets.
แม่นแล้วเนาะตัวนี้มันสามารถนำใช้ได้ในทุกๆเครื่องมืออุปกรณ์การสื่อสารเลย ซึ่งเขาจะนำใช้เครื่องมือตัวใดก็ได้เนาะบ่ว่าจะเป็นรูปแบบโทรศัพท์คอมพิวเตอร์อื่นๆเนาะซึ่งแน่นอนเนาะผู้ปกครองบางครั้งอาจจะเป็นห่วงว่านักเรียนเองจะอยู่ในหน้าจอหลายเกินไปเนาะ
So why not channelize their energies in the right direction? Instead of playing here and there other kind of games, why not bring them on Eduten? Why not give them those kind of exercises which really enhances their skills in the subject of mathematics?
It's all about flexibility. Yes, Sonia. I've got another question for you. How has Eduten managed to empower teachers in their classroom teaching, or has it? So first of all, has Eduten empowered teachers? Is that a yes or a no?
Yeah, definitely
and
yes.
How?
Yeah, the personal experience of mine with the Eduten says that the lessons which we are being taught in the class, the ongoing lessons, we are not even able to open that. Along with that, we have got the complete liberty to edit those lessons. We can add up, search for the contents from other grade courses and add up in those current grade course which we wanted. Then another thing, that as a teacher, if I feel that my child is not coming up to the level of the first milestone of bronze trophy, might be, for an example, I have set the 50% level for my class, but for specific students, I want that level to come down. I can very well do so. So
และนอกจากนั้นเนาะเขาสังเกตเห็นว่า 50% ของตัวผู้เรียนเองเขาเจ้าก็ได้มีการเรียนด้วยความห้าวหาญตื่นเต้นและสำหรับกลุ่มนักเรียนที่ว่าเขาเจ้าจะใช้เวลาหลายกว่าแน่ในการที่ว่าจะเรียนหนังสือเขาเจ้าก็ยังสามารถที่จะมีความมั่นใจหลายขึ้นมาเขาเจ้าได้มีการเฮ็ดโดยมีเวลาให้เขาเจ้าหลายกว่าแทนที่จะใช้เวลาเฉพาะในห้องเรียนเท่านั้นแล้วเมื่อว่าถึงวิชาการเรียนรู้วิชาเลข
So here it is, and the very well, I think Henry has put up in a very quick brief that he has covered up all the points which I really wanted to also share. The learning analytics of the platform, the insights of each and every child, the strong and the weak points. In a class of 25, 30, 40 children, as a teacher might be, I miss out that my particular child might be still requiring attention and support in the skill of subtraction or addition, but the platform is very well diagnosing it. The AI of the platform is really telling me there that it's all just hovering a mouse over the skill mapping, and I get to know, okay, this particular child needs attention in this particular skill. The insights are very clearly given on with the help of those learning analytics. And a very important feature, which is my favorite, the differentiation. The
เพราะ
platform
ว่าการนำใช้ Eduten จะเป็นจุดที่ให้เราได้สามารถวิเคราะห์จุดแข็งและจุดอ่อนของนักเรียนในวิชาเลขได้ดีขึ้นและเราได้รู้ว่าจุดใดที่เขาจะเห็นได้ดีแล้วและจุดใดที่เขาจะต้องการเวลาหลายขึ้นตื่นเพื่อที่จะได้เรียนรู้
kind of exercises which are very, very easy to those slow learners, so that they get the motivation to get on to with those exercises, and they reach to the first milestone of bronze trophy, and might be there is no looking back for them. And I try to keep those bright children again in the main group. Why not give them those kind of challenging exercises so that they are prepared and well groomed for higher classes with their curriculum? And
Sorry, how about assessment and exams? Could teachers set those up for the students?
Yeah, yes, we have been doing so. This assessment, the formative, the class tests, the revision tests are very well taken on this platform. The teacher just has to create a test there, and she can set the difficulty level. She can also set the time, even if she can fix up the time. And if all children are not opening the test at the same time, not an issue. The child opens the test and gets that duration and attempts the test. And then the scores are also able to be published. And thereafter, if the scores are published, the child still has the provision to get into the test and see the score and answers. The child is able to make it out, where did I go wrong, and the teacher can very well discuss it later on also. Then the guardian, yeah.
I'd just like to add there, that's one of the strengths of the Finnish education system, that there's no dead ends. When you make a mistake, you pivot and work out how to remedy that mistake. And Eduten's a really good example of that. So great to hear that that's working.
Very true, very true. And the guardian report, I think here we can loop in the parents. The platform allows us to take the parents into the confidence. And I believe when parents become the partners with us in such kind of projects, no project can go fail. So here, if the guardian reports are being sent to the parents from the platform, this is just a single click, and they can receive it as per the requirement of the schools by whether it is weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And then there is a provision that we are adding our personal feedback also, personal observation also in the feedback box, along with the automatic generated analysis. So the parent get a good fair idea that this is how my child is heading towards the subject of mathematics on the platform, plus the anxiety level also of the parents come down. So they are really happy, the feedback what we are getting from our school parents, that they are satisfied that the platform is doing wonders, and it is a positive screen time once again for the children.
I love that parents are kept in the loop, because we do like to know what's happening with our children at school. And this is just an easy way at a glance to see what our kids are doing. So yeah, fabulous. And it's great that Eduten has this artificial intelligence that at the click of a button, it sets it all up and, you know, we can see it straight away. Sonia, could you tell me, how about from the school management perspective? How is school management making use of Eduten in monitoring the teaching and learning process?
Yeah, right. That's a very important aspect, because the head of the institutes or the authorities, they would really like to see how things are moving on the platform, not from just from the student perspective, but also from the teacher's perspective. The submissions made to the teacher in her account, the grade courses details, the misconception graph, the skill mapping, that how many submissions have been done weekly, every minute detail is being given to the authorities. Their account has been assigned a special role. So here, like as an Eduten coordinator myself in the school, I have been given that role of school statistics and school admin, where I can have a complete overview that what is going on the platforms just from my own account. I can get the principal of the school, get the complete good fair idea how things are moving on in a particular lesson, how the different sections of the classes are doing, how the comparison analysis can very well be derived. So the platform has also taken care of that part very well.
Yes, it's just so nice to have your feedback as a person. You know, this is not a sponsored post, as they say in social media. It's just nice to have this, you know, really true experiential feedback that you're giving us. Sonia, before you go, and thank you for being here. Having you here is just a really powerful segment, but could you tell me, as an Eduten coordinator in your school, do you want to mention any other benefit of taking up the platform? What have you experienced?
Yeah, I think Eduten is, first of all, very progressive. Very recently, we have got one competition where our students had participated in Finland math competition. And it is just a friendly competition just to showcase the students' learning at the international level. So the child becomes well aware of that as well. The goal of the competition is basically to promote the use of digital tools in classroom, as well as uphold the students' motivation and curiosity for the subject. And Eduten was very good with it, because Eduten provided us with a practice course on the platform for the participants. You know, that really gave a good hands-on practice before the competition, which really boosted students' confidence and their excitement as well. And to end with it, the schools, participating schools, we have got our results also, and the schools have been felicitated with the school trophies, medals, and certificates. And you know, that really give that not only to the school, but students also that kind of trust and respected Finnish education brand and experience, that yes, they are attached to that Finnish education and they are part of the Finnish pedagogy now.
Yes, and that was the other thing that I've just remembered about Eduten. Even though it's a digital platform, we have those analog aspects of giving certificates, medals, trophies, and becoming part of the Eduten, I don't know, network or ecosystem. I'm not sure how the best way to say it, but yes, thank you for pointing that out. Sonia, Mrs. Sonia Arora, thank you so much for joining us today and endorsing Eduten and the way you're using it in your school. It's been an honour, and I really appreciate the effort that you've put in here. Thank you very much.
I'll just take this opportunity to, on behalf of Bhavan Vidyalaya, I would like to thank you, Eduten, for making the children so relaxed in the subject of mathematics. They are loving it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank
and
you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much. All right. Wow. Well, we're going to hear from Henry in just a moment to wrap things up quite quickly and let us know what's the best way to have Eduten trialed in your school. But before we do, and Henry, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
There's a question here that we've got. Can the program work on Android devices? Could you please answer that straight away?
Yeah, excellent question. So Eduten is a very typical web application, meaning that it will work with any device that is a reasonable modern, like 5 years or newer. And as long as it's an internet browser and a network connection, Eduten will work on it.
Yes. Okay, fabulous. So short answer is yes. As long as it's a fairly modern device, Eduten is going to work. Excellent. We've had a couple of questions about, such as that we don't have devices for all students. So the answer to that, I guess, and also just in regular classroom work, collaborative learning is the way to go. So share a device, put a few students together, and it's amazing what can happen when students are sharing that learning process and the ideas that come from that. Somebody has asked, how is the learning experience customized? I think Mrs. Sonia answered that question, but is there anything else that you'd like to add there, Henry, about how the learning experience is customized?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was one of the toughest nuts to crack when we were designing this, I would like to say that the university was designing this learning experience over the years. And the result where we ended up was that while the learning analytics could do many things automatically, it's always the case that computer will only see one part of the students' lives and the learning experience. So even though the learning analytics can give the student, sorry, the teacher, very, very precise information about the various sub-skills of the student regarding, for example, mathematics. There are many aspects that only the teacher can see, like maybe the student has some other issues that are not visible in the math practice data, maybe have some challenge at home that might impact their practicing, and so on, so forth. So we decided that early on that the system will only give advice, and really easy advice for this teacher, not make these decisions autonomously. So currently Eduten is the teacher's best friend, but the teacher is the final pedagogical expert that is in the end making all the important decisions, how the personalization is happening also in Eduten for each student.
Yes, okay. The teacher is the all-important factor in the classroom for sure. And again, Eduten is there to support and enhance teaching and learning rather than take over. So yes, very good. Thank you very much. There were a couple of questions about data, which is really important these days, and about sharing and privacy. Who will see the students' data? The quick answer to that is only the teacher can see the data of their own students. So rest assured that you can add teachers to whatever you're doing, but nobody can get in there and see anything private without your permission first. That's correct, is it, Henry?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we are very, very strict about data privacy. And
yes.
If you know anything about the Europe, the GDPR, that is also actually a legal requirement for Eduten, and it also applies to students anywhere in the world. So
yes.
We are very strict about that.
Yes, so all data is always handed anonymously, and we use the data just to improve our analytics, not to look directly at individual students or expose their identities. We always follow good practices. Okay. I think, Henry, now over to you about if there's been some interest in how to have Eduten in a classroom. And we also offer these fantastic 4-week free trials of the platform, so you can see for yourself how it works for you. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that before we wrap up?
Absolutely.
You're going to share your screen again? So just while Henry's getting his screen ready, there is a 4-week trial available to test Eduten in your classroom, and you will see for yourself how well it works. And I'd like to say that most people who use Eduten as a pilot go on to becoming loyal subscribers to the platform because it's just too good to give up. So go ahead, Henry.
Yes, thank you. I hope you can see the screen again. So first of all, as I mentioned, Eduten
เราได้นำเสนอไปว่า Eduten นี้ได้มีการนำใช้แล้วกับบรรดานักเรียนมหาวิทยาลัย
more than 50 countries. So we have really, really extensive experience together with our local partners how to do it, and we will help you as well. And as Melissa said, the best way to get started with no commitments is to arrange a short 4-week digital learning trial with your school. A part of your teachers, typically those who are interested in trying these kind of things out, will receive a training from Finland, and they will get to use Eduten for a couple of weeks in actual same way that they would be using it week to week, like Sonia was telling you. And after that, our university will actually take the data generated by the students in your school and create a report and recommendation about digital tools for your school. So that's how we will close the pilot. And we provide these pilots for free, so no commitments. And if you think based on the pilot that it would be interesting for your school and students and your teachers, then we will discuss about long-term usage. And there's a link that you can click to send your interest. But as Hang said in the chat, even better way is to contact our partner. I hope Hang will share the contact details there soon, and they will help you to get started as quickly and as easy as possible.
So if you are here, oh, sorry, go ahead, Henry, sorry.
Yeah, just wrapping up that, thank you for this opportunity to tell you more about Eduten and Finland Math, and I'm really, really excited to working with all of you in the future to help the teachers and students across your schools. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for being here, the CEO of Eduten, Henry Mortimer. Wonderful. And Hung will put the link to the Lao PDR partner here in the chat. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, you will find the link below in the comments. So go ahead. Also, just go to www.eduten.com, and there are lots of opportunities there to contact anybody from Eduten, and we'll get in contact with you. Right, so now we're just going to close off this webinar, this official launch of Eduten in Lao PDR. Again, I would like to thank all of our esteemed guests that we had here today. Henry Mortimer, the CEO of Eduten, Mrs. Sonia Arora, coming live from India, sharing her wonderful experiences. His Excellency Ko Novanto, excuse me, Mrs. Kumpasuth, she's the Director General Education of the Education Department. And finally, the Honorary Council of Finland, Mr. Ko Visuk Dalasane. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. All of you, before we go, I've been asked, could you please ask everybody to open your camera? So I'd like to ask everybody to open your camera so we can take a nice group picture to share, if you're okay with sharing, I guess, on social media. So if you're not okay with sharing on social media, please don't share your picture. And Hung, are you going to pop in there and take a screenshot? I'm not sure. All I can see is Henry and my big heads in the middle there.
Yes.
So I hope.
Please, everyone smile. I will take the photo of all of you, and thank you so much for being here with us today. One more time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us, and wherever you are in the world, please have a lovely evening, day, morning, wherever you are, and take care. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
See you, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See you.
Bye. Bye.
สวยเนาะแล้วก็ถ่ายเพียงมีทางก็สามารถทักหาน้องหรือกลุ่มวันจัดได้เลยเด้อเจ้า
บริเวณเรื่องกันนะครับของคณะทำงานได้ทั้งหมดได้กิจการทางงาน5 นักวันนี้ก็4 มื้อโปรได้เติมเยอะวันนี้เงินมาปล่อยคือเอาเยอะว่าต้องให้มันชัดดาว
สวยเจ้าสบายดี
โดยสบายดี
สวย
อันน่ะรู้สึกว่าของประชุมเวลาสั้นเกินไปแล้วก็ผู้เข้าร่วมบ่มีโอกาสได้ถามความจริงค่อยกล้าเกี่ยมคำถามไว้ 7-8 คำถามแต่ว่าบ่มีโอกาสได้ถามเลยนะ
สวยเดี๋ยวสำหรับตัวนี้รบกวนผมเห็นได้มองไปดูหน่อยโดยสำหรับตัวนี้รบกวนไอ้วิงพิมพ์ลงน่าจะวิงเนาะไอ้วิงลงพิมพ์ลงในห้องแชทในกลุ่ม WhatsApp เฮาได้เลยเด้อเพราะว่าเนื่องจากเวลาเฮาเปิดก็เนาะเดี๋ยวตัวนี้น้องสิรวบรวมแล้วก็ส่งให้เพิ่นตอบให้เด้อเจ้าสำหรับทุกคำถามเนาะที่มีคำถาม
โดยขอบใจ
โดยได้เฮาสามารถรวมกันในกลุ่มแชทได้เลยเพื่อว่าหลายๆคนจะได้เห็นคำถามแล้วก็จะได้เห็นคำตอบกันเลยนะเจ้าท่านเดี๋ยวน้องจะขอปิดตรงนี้เลยเนาะแล้วการท่านใดที่ว่ายังมีคำถามหรือว่ายังอยากทดลองใช้ Eduten เนาะก็สามารถติดต่อน้องกันทาง WhatsApp ได้เลยเจ้าขอบใจ
ขอบใจหลายๆเจ้า